with Brian Wilk
and Stuntman Merlin Ripley. We're gonna go and race go-kart at K1 Speed in South San Francisco.
Hi, this is Tanja Nixx with Brian Wilks. Today we're at the K1 Speed. We're gonna do some racing. Guest Stuntman Merlin Ripley.
Hey, what's going on? Yeah.
Merlin, are you excited about this?
I'm so excited. I'm a trained stunt precision driver, and you guys are in for a treat today because I'm gonna mop the floor with you.
Don't mop it with me. I'm already shaking.
Say again?
You're not allowed to record indoors.
Oh.
Tell me about the stuntman, being a stuntman. Actually, let me ask you, why did you get into it?
The thing that first got me interested was I had a conversation with someone, and they said, "Why do you lift weights? Why are you so big? Are you big for nothing?" I'm like, "Big for nothing? What do you mean, big?" And I was very offended.
Yeah.
And I started to think about it, and one of the things that's always been a driving factor in my life was I wanted to be a professional athlete. So I always lifted weights, I always played sports, all these different things. And so I finally was able to marry two things that I love, which is, fitness, health, with doing something physical with my body, which is stunts. So the two of them go hand in hand.
What was your first stunt that you ever got being paid?
One of the very first stunts that I did, a large stunt, was I fell down a flight of stairs. And so there was a process of learning how to fall safely and not hurting myself, using my body armor, things like that. And I was very proud of that. I actually, after I finished doing that, I wanted to set the Guinness Book of World Records for the longest fall stair. It's something I still want to do. The best thing about a staircase that's long is that you can make that fall look much more dramatic, where it's like it looks like you're on a never-ending tumble down the stairs.
So going to the K1 Speed today must be nothing for you then.
One of the great things about what we experienced today was the thrill and the precision of driving at very high rates of speed in a, could be a small car or a large car, but you start thinking about things a little differently. I'm sure that when you were out there taking a turn, the speed that you were going, using the brakes, those types of things in that scenario, that's the exact thing that you do in a stunt driving situation. You have to think ahead. You're not just flying down the track. You have to be very methodical and safe while you're making these maneuvers. In film, in movies, all of those things are mapped out ahead of time. They have this is your lead car, and you're going at this rate of speed, and it's all broken down. You're not just out there winging it. And so for today with K1, which is awesome, is once you're out there, then you're like, oh, how did I take this turn before? I'm gonna try this a little differently. And you're starting to think more about, you're not just driving, like you drive your regular car, you're not thinking about anything, you're stuck in traffic, you're not thinking about speed and braking. So that's how it kind of relates to stunts, I think, for me.
To be honest, I didn't use my brakes at all. Were you supposed to?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Maybe that's why I drove so bad. Cheers. Thanks for coming with us today.
Oh, absolutely.
It was really awesome.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
I'm a huge fan of Sam Peckinpah, and I know in the Wild Bunch, the shooting scenes, they made them extra brutal. They filmed it with different cameras, and back then it was one of the most brutal films. So have you experienced any shooting scenes, or what did they use props? I heard they use liver or like to make it look real. Like what did they use, or how was it for you?
That film that you're talking about is a very famous film that was ahead of its time. And those techniques that they used, some of those techniques we actually still use today. What you're talking about is called a squib. And I was lucky enough to film a movie where I got to attach a squib basically on my head. The squibs now, they come with small explosives. And
Wow.
so you're basically strapping a little mini bomb to your head that explodes. And in this film, of course, there's a lot of gunplay that's there. I get killed, I get shot in the head. The squib explodes, and it feels like, if you can imagine a baseball pitching machine where you have a ball coming at you at 90 miles an hour and hitting you right in the middle of your head.
So something is actually hitting you?
That's what it feels like. It feels like the shock wave from the explosion hitting you, it actually makes your head go back. And so the force is something that doesn't come across as fake. And it looks more realistic, like you actually are being hit by a bullet.
Wow.
And that explosion, the blood pack comes out. So from that famous film that you're talking about, they used animal blood and things of that nature. Now we have a mixture of sugars and different prop blood that we use that looks really amazing.
I did the class of fake sword fighting, as well as we did a few punches where you had to kind of go out of the way.
Yeah.
Like with this, it was like a dance, and the sword fighting was really interesting too.
They have an excellent class here in the Bay Area in Berkeley. It's called Stage Combat.
Yes, that's what I did. Yeah,
Stage
I forgot
Combat.
the name of it.
A lot of the very basic skills that they teach you in Stage Combat, that is your base of sword play. Sometimes they get into a little bit of daggers and knives, shield work where you're using a shield, battle sequences where it could be like a Vikings or gladiators or something. It's all very basic, because then you start getting into training with people that have martial arts backgrounds. So now you're mixing in punches and fights with those swords. And the same thing, it's a dance, you know, and when you have different dance partners, they bring different skills to the table.
Show me one. I want to. Do you want to show me one?
So first, what you do is you put your hand in front of your face like this, and that's distance. Okay. So that distance is a measuring stick for myself. Okay. When I'm gonna throw that punch at you, I'm never gonna get closer than your end of your hand here to your face. So this area right here in between is your safety zone. Ready? All right, here we go.